warahmatullah. Um, I would like to record a video about triggers, uh, how you create triggers, what is the benefit of triggers, and so forth. But before that, I should give you some introduction about PLSQL, how you create PLSQL blocks in Oracle, and how you execute them so that it will be an introductory part for creating triggers. We can create blocks. We can create some programming in SQL, and we call it PLSQL. PLSQL, which is stand for Programming Language, Procedural Language. I'm sorry, Procedural Language of Structured Query Language. So it is named PLSQL, which is part of Oracle. In this one, we can create programs. I mean, real programming, like using constructs, if statements, loops, different types of loops, and case structure, and arrays, a lot of different things. But we basically PLSQL is used to create some events like triggers and packages, functions, and procedures. So let us start with small examples to create small PL SQL blocks like this. Okay. Usually the compulsory part are to begin and end. Begin and end. There is another part for declare, which is optional. Then look at this. What is this? This is a package to display what is between parentheses and between single quotes. You have used it in programming in Java, which is system .out, في JavaScript, document.writeline, في C++, cout, في C programming language, printf, في PHP echo or print. Here it is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, very long, but people usually will save it somewhere and then copy and paste it so that they don't make mistakes. dbms underscore output is a package calling a procedure, built-in procedure called put underscore line. This procedure will execute or will display what is inside the parentheses between single quotation. So dbms, database management system, dbms underscore output, there is a package, built-in package called dbms underscore output then dot put underscore line, there is the built-in procedure called put underscore line. So this package is calling this procedure and is executing this. So this program will simply display this statement. Anything that you put it inside here, it will display it. So we use it to display what is inside the parentheses here. So if you have, for example, numbers, like you like to display some values like 34 plus 6, and then you like to execute it. So this one displays 10, which is it adds this. You can make some mathematical expressions here. Like, for example, you would like to do this. So what is the output of this expression inside here? So it is 64, which is 6 multiplied by 10, and then plus 4. So it actually works with even this called precedence rule and everything. So we can actually declare a variable here and use it. So for example, I would like to add declare part. Declare but now it is 3. Declare is optional. If you don't have anything to declare, you don't have to. So declare, for example, number 1, and then the data type number. Later you can assign it a variable inside the begin section, or you can assign it a variable. To assign it a variable, you have to use colon equal, not just equal, just colon equal in PLSQL. For example, you have here, this one is 10, and then you have another variable called number 2, which is also data type is number, and also is assigned to another number like 10. And then you would like to put here result. Result is a variable, and don't assign it anything. Let us just give it a data type, which is number. And then here, I would like to take this result and put it inside the begin section, and then assign it to number 1 here plus number 2. Number 1 plus number 2. Alright, so this is my block right now. So I would like to display this value for result. I just put it here. Result, sorry. Then you execute the whole block. Declare 2 variables, actually 3 variables, 2 values have been given values, 2 of them given values, but this one is not given a value, but assign a value right here. And then I'm displaying it using this dbms underscore output line. So this will give me 30. I can concatenate a string using single quotation here. Like if I use single quote like this, the result is, then I have to use this bar. This is like the OR operator here, bar. So this one will give me this statement. The result is 30. And so on. So this is a simple block, just to tell you that you can create simple blocks using begin and end, or declare variables, use them here. So this is how to, this is a simple block. I can use this one by example in using it in for loops, using it in if statements, and so forth. I think I have example here for another example. You can actually add another part for this, which is exception part. Let me give this example. I have this optional section called exception section. Exception section is optional, same like declare section. So here, for example, I have a variable called v underscore result with data type is number. Begin, I am assigning this one to 1 over 0. So I'm dividing 1 over 0, and I would like to display what is the value of 1 divided by 0. It's gonna give me an error message, which is you cannot divide any number by 0. But here I have an exception. Exception means this is the handling the error section, and we can use built-in exception like 0 divide. When 0 divide, that means there is a built-in exception called when 0 divide. So when you are experiencing a 0 divide, that means when you are dividing by 0, then dbms underscore output dot put line display a built-in function called SQL error message, which is built-in error message. So this one will give you something like this, aura 0146. This is the error number, and the error message is divisor is equal to 0. That means there is a mistake here because you cannot divide by 0. Or you can remove this one and just write your own message, like you cannot divide by 0. So you can actually write your own message here inside this one, and it will give you your own message. You cannot divide by 0. So as I told you, you can use PLSQL block to create a longer program. Look at this program. This is a longer program in which I'm using if statement, same like I use it in other programming languages. In this one, I'm declaring a variable called month, and as a varchar 2 with 5 size, and then I am giving it the system date, today's date. Substring system date, that means the starting from the fourth letter, give me 3 numbers, which is only, I'm looking for 3 characters. Substring, this one, by the way, this one by itself, if you are wondering what is this, let me just type select this substring from dual. Okay, select substring sysdate. Sysdate, this date, today's date. Yani this is April 1st, right, or April 2nd. So to give you April APR only, because usually sysdate, if you set select sysdate, by itself, just sysdate from dual, it will give you this. Just 1 second, let me execute it. It will give you, oh sorry, this one I have to highlight first. Then it will give you this 02 April 20. So here this substring, it takes the system date, which is the whole date. It starts from letter number 4 or character number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is number 4, which is A, and it gives you three characters. So it gives you APR. So this will display 3 characters starting from what? From number 4. And as if you are actually saying substring of ename. Give me starting from the first character. Give me three characters from EMP. So look at the output of this statement. It will give you starting from the first, like Smith. It give you start from the first S. It give you SMI 3 characters starting from the first one. This is Word, but you said give me 3, so it gives you only 3. If you'd like to have 4, then put here 4. Okay. So Word is given, Mart is given. This is Martin, but you ask for 4. Anyway, this is just to tell you what is this. If you are wondering what is this, this one is giving you just the month, like January, February, March, April, May, June, like that. Anyway, I'm using this one in if statement. I'm saying if the month, this variable I declare here, equal January, then dbms underscore output dot put line display this month and tell me this is actually 01. Yani January is 01. And then repeat this. Else if is written like that. Else if without e. Else ELSEIF. Else if v months, which is a variable declared here, if the output of this result is actually Feb, because this is system date, which is this today's date. Yani today is the 2nd of April. So if this is February, it's going to give me this message. If it is March, it's going to give me a message. If it is April, it's going to give me a message. So it's going to give me this one because this date is April. Okay, so it's going to give me April is actually 04. If this one is executed 2 days ago, it's going to give you this one, but it's executed today, which is 2nd of March, 2nd of April, I mean. And then else tell me that we are in the second half of the year, second half, not the first half. This is the first half. If you execute this statement, as I told you, it will give you this APR is actually 04, which is this one. I'm using this example to show you that you can use if statement, you can use calculation, you can use a lot of things with triggers. Now let us go for triggers. What is a trigger? In this video I said I'm going to discuss triggers in what is triggers in PL/SQL. Triggers are stored programs. Stored program, just like this program. This program is not a stored program because I did not create it as a program. I did not give it a name. So it's just a code. But here, if you like to create a trigger, you give it a name, create trigger with a specific name. So it is actually an object in database. It is a stored program in database. which is automatically executed or fired when some event occurs. You have seen that in this program I have executed it when I click run here, right? I click run. But this trigger, when it is created, when I create a trigger, it will be executed or fired. Usually we don't say executed, we say it is when it is fired. So a trigger is fired actually, because a trigger like a gun trigger, you know. So when it is fired, uh, when some event occurs, when some uh, event occurs in response to any of the following. يعني لما when something happens, like DML, like when you delete something or you insert something or you update something, then it will fire. It will be executed. It will not be executed I mean when you create the trigger is going to be created. It's going to sit there. It's going to wait for an event to happen. For example, it's going to be created before or after delete, before or after insert, before or after update. So in any one of these 6 events, like before update or after update, or before insert or after insert, or before update or after update, any one of these happens, then the trigger will be fired. Also, if there is create or alter or drop, you can create a trigger on the data definition language that when you create something, or you alter something, or drop something. In some cases, also in database administration, when a trigger can be created as database operation event, like when you have a server error, or you have a login problems, or startup problem, or a server shutdown issues, then the trigger can actually fire to give you a specific message. So what is the benefit of triggers? Triggers can be written for the following purposes. They can generate some column values automatically. Sometimes you create a trigger and automatically it will generate some values. It can also enforce what is called referential integrity of database, to make sure that nothing can be inserted on one table unless the related data is available on another table. So this is also one of the benefits of creating a trigger. Also, storing information on table access, when you, for example, create a trigger, sometimes you would like to make sure that the access to this table or the access to specific database object is given to specific people. Or, as I will give one of the examples, for example, that I will create a trigger that one of the tables cannot be accessed or deleted or modified in the weekend. In the weekend. Weekend means like Friday and Saturday. Nobody will be able to do that, or nobody can be logged into the server on those 2 days. So you can create a trigger to actually control access, or imposing some authorization, as I mentioned earlier, or preventing invalid transaction. Also, you can have these triggers. Triggers have a lot of benefits and can be created using this format. This one is similar to the PL SQL block that I have shown you earlier in my various examples. You have to start, however, with the word create or replace. The difference between create only or create or replace: create only, so if the trigger is already there, then it will give you an error message that the trigger is in the database with the same name. But or replace means if it is already there in the database, it will replace it. So please use or replace with care, because if you use or replace, it means it will be created even if there is the same name existing, this same name, trigger name existing in the database. It will create it because it will create it or replace the already existing one. So this one will destroy the already existing trigger and create a new trigger. So create or replace trigger trigger, you have to mention the word trigger and then give it a name, any name, and then the trigger can be created before or after instead of, but usually the most triggers are created before or after, yani before insert or after insert, before update or after update, before delete or after delete. I will, in the next video, I will actually give you some examples to show how you create triggers with different events timing, before or after, or DML commands like insert or update or trigger. But you have to mention the table name on a specific table. So a trigger is created based on a specific table. On table name, you have to mention the name. If you have declare is optional, as I mentioned in my previous example about PLSQL block. And then you have declaration statement inside there. Then begin. This is the main section where you have the executable statements inside this main section, which is begin. But exception handling section is actually optional. If you don't have exception handling section, then you don't have to create any exception. So if you have exception, means if you are expecting an error, then you can include this exception. So this is the general syntax, and then in the next video I will start creating some triggers, simple triggers, and then give you more advanced type of triggers to show you the importance of creating triggers, and also different types of triggers as well. Okay, thank you so much.